And some more breaking news right now. The city's Rent Guidelines Board re-voted this morning to alter its proposed rent hikes for some people living in rent-stabilized apartments. Fox 5's Meredith Gorman live in Lower Manhattan with a breakdown of today's vote. Meredith.
Bianca, it was a quick meeting today. The vote only took about 20 minutes to decide about an updated range of potential rent increases for tenants living in rent-controlled apartments here in New York City. Now, New York City's Rent Guidelines Board met today in a rare revote to look at the issue of raising rent on about 1 million rent-stabilized apartments in the city. The range for one-year leases will remain the same. However, the revised guidelines reduce the proposed increase for two-year leases to a range of 3.75 to 7.75%, which is down from the 4.75% to 7.75% minimum, which was approved last month. Now, this vote to decrease the range ahead of the final vote was partly brought on by pressure from tenants. Board Chair Doug Apple said at the start of the meeting that the tenants said their incomes aren't keeping pace with the rising costs of living here. Now, some landlords think this proposed rent increase rate is still not enough to cover expenses for them, saying that the Rent Guidelines Board's own data shows that landlords need at least a 6.7% rent hike to even stay financially stable right now. One landlord of a building with 4 mostly rent-controlled units said he is in the red on profits starting at the beginning of the year, and he wants the city to address the expenses on owners rather than pitting landlords and tenants against each other.
That rate doesn't even match inflation, let alone the other costs that the city is raising. And so, again, I call on the mayor, I call on our city council, I call on our state legislature and the governor. If you would like to see lower rents, please lower our expenses.
Meanwhile, tenants are calling for a rent freeze, saying that no rent increase would work for them and that these ranges are still too high. An analysis by the Community Service Society found that rent freeze would save New Yorkers in rent-controlled units an average of about $600 a month.
The vast majority of the city is tenants. 70% of New Yorkers are tenants. Much smaller number are landlords. Landlord profits, according to the Rent Guidelines Board data, are up 12.1% this year, up over 10% last year. That means that most rent-stabilized landlords, who are by and large quite large corporate landlords, are doing all right. For the landlords who aren't, small landlords who are struggling, there are a number of city programs available.
Now, the final vote will be held on June 27th, and any approved changes will apply to leases starting from October 1st onward. Bianca?
Yeah, such a contested issue there. Meredith, thank you for the update on it.